By far the most common question asked of us with respect to reputation management as well as internet defamation issues, litigation, is why does Google elevate to position one, or at least on page one, defamatory information, defamatory allegations that are clearly malicious, unfounded, and anonymous? It's a good question. And we've come up with a hypothesis, and given that hypothesis a name. It's the humiliation algorithm. I believe that the actual Google search engine is very smart in that it recognizes proper nouns. That might be a person's name, a real person's name, a business name, a company name. If someone conducts a search on the Google search engine for a person's name, you'll usually find in position 1 or 2 what you're looking for. Hopefully it'll be that person's homepage, and rightly so. That's where it should be. It's relevant. But time after time, if there are allegations of crimes or social dysfunction on the individual or the business being searched for, invariably it'll be on page 1 of Google, probably in position 3, 4, 5, or 6. This is what I call the humiliation slots. Even though it does vary, in the recent changes to the Google algorithms, there's been more diversity in where these negative or humiliation results appear. Why does Google do this? Take, for example, the following search. I'm going to do a search for a real attorney in New York City. His name is Nicholas Massetti, attorney, New York. That's my search term. I've just sent Google a lot of information. I've told them that I'm looking for an attorney. I'm looking for an attorney in New York, and I'm looking for a specific attorney by the name of Nicholas Massetti. Google has probably 3, 4, maybe 5 seconds in order to monetize my search, to somehow make money out of me being on the search engine, on their website right now. And if I click on Nicholas Massetti's homepage, which you can see up here in the top few results, Google doesn't make a penny. My theory is, with the humiliation algorithm, is Google looks for any instances, anywhere on the internet, of Nicholas's name in close association with negative connotations or negative sentiment or inflammatory words, whether that be tax cheat, wife beater, or child abuser, whatever it might be. When Google finds this, I believe it deliberately and artificially elevates that information to the page 1 of Google with a view to repulse me from Nicholas. If I'm specifically looking for Nicholas, I'm naturally going to click his homepage if I want his phone number, for example, to give him a call to engage him for legal services. So in that few seconds, Google needs to repulse me if Google wants to make money out of me. The best way to make money is to elevate, for example, this result here, RipOffReport.com. This is a horrible website. It's been described by the Supreme Court or the appeals court in Florida being appalling business practices, and yet Google has a love affair with this website and its owner, ED-MAGEDSON. And I'll explain why I think that is. I've now found Nicholas's homepage, and my mouse is hovered over the link to his homepage, but then I noticed the RipOffReport.com. If I'm in a hurry, I've probably seen enough. I'm, in many instances, going to decide I don't really know this guy. I'm not going to take any chances. I'm not going to call him because of the allegations I can read. But I need an attorney in New York. Where am I going to go? Have a look on the right-hand side of the search results. There's no shortage of suggestions from Google. Each one of these individuals, these competitors of Nicholas, are attorneys in New York in most instances, and they're paying good money, lots of money, because New York attorneys, Google AdWords is a very competitive term. If I click on any one of these, it's probably going to cost that individual $10, and that money's gone into the pockets of Google at the expense of Nicholas Massetti. But it doesn't end there. If I have an insatiable appetite for gossip, or I genuinely want to know what these allegations are, I'll click on the RipOff Report result. I can read through the allegations, and I'm going to see that this was written by somebody with a high school level education. It's clearly malicious and inflammatory. It's done anonymously, so if I'm a critical thinker, I'm probably going to dismiss the allegations, but there's going to be a lot of cases that people will believe it, or even if they don't believe it, they just don't want to get involved with this individual. On the RipOffReport.com page, there is actually more Google AdWords. So I may choose one of the attorneys from within the RipOff Report page. And once again, you'll notice the ad choices. This is actually part of Google AdWords again. So Google might have missed 100% profit on the AdWords on the search engine page itself. But now, if I click on these AdWord ads from within RipOffReport.com, Google and ED-MAGEDSON split the profits of these searches, once again at the expense of an attorney with clean hands as far as the allegations that have been made against him. If this were to happen in any other mass media, newspaper, radio, television, those agencies, those media outlets would be liable for defamation because the allegations got past their editorial process. Now, the United States Congress, in its wisdom in 1996, under a law called Section 230C of the Communications Decency Act, has given sweeping immunity to internet service providers for information provided by other authors. I don't believe it was meant to be sweeping immunity because it comes under the heading of Good Samaritan immunity. The idea was this law gives internet service providers a safe harbor, and they can elect to remove defamatory material or any type of offensive material without being sued by the authors for impeding their free speech, or they can choose to leave it there. The fact that it comes under the heading Good Samaritan shielding tells us the intent of Congress, and the intent is for Google or RipOffReport to remove or investigate allegations of this nature to see if it's true, and hopefully remove it in the spirit of the Good Samaritan. Generally, they don't do that. And Google, in particular, has a cookie-cutter template that they send to injured parties, just saying pursuant to Section 230C of the Communications Decency Act. And the word pursuant is used by Google. They don't do anything without a court order. The way it reads, in fact, the cookie-cutter template, it almost makes it look like it's illegal for Google to remove this without a court order, which is not the case. They have the discretion to remove it. Now, it stands to reason that a vast majority of the searches conducted on Google have nothing to do with a commercial transaction, looking for attorneys or products. It could be any type of research, or just looking up a potential mate in courtship, or a teacher to find the email address to ask questions about homework. Whatever the case may be, this humiliation algorithm shows no partiality. And if there is negative content, true, false, or otherwise, about individuals or businesses or trademarks or brands, invariably it'll find its way to page 1 of Google, and it will do damage. In my view, this has a lot of secondary negative results, in that it allows vandals to destroy a business that might have 50 years of community goodwill and great service with one fell swoop with something like the RipOffReport.com, then derive new market share for whatever industry or whatever service they're offering. Take, for example, Acme Plumbing in Chattanooga, Tennessee. They might have 50 years of community goodwill, great service, excellent service, and they're unassailable by any potential competitor because of the position they have in the community. One newcomer to Chattanooga in plumbing could destroy that business's reputation as far as internet-related traffic, which is a lot of traffic. A lot of people do their due diligence through Google, unfortunately. With one fell swoop and a carefully crafted complaint on RipOffReport.com, they can destroy the internet business for Acme Plumbing. And this could be a plumbing business that has no ethics, and it could be just a scam. But by destroying the established business, they'll derive new income and new revenue and new customers from the Google AdWords that they might subscribe to. And then the community as a whole suffers because the quality of service goes down, and it doesn't take Einstein to work out the secondary and tertiary impact that Google's now having through implementing these types of hypothetical algorithms. Write to Congress. Write to your members of Congress about Section 230C of the Communications Decency Act. Visit the website BAD4People, B-A-D-F-O-R, people.org. This is a website I've established to help bring public awareness to this problem. If you're currently burdened by these 24/7 relentless internet smear campaigns, I feel for you. I can tell you that your friends, your family, your neighbors, anybody that hasn't personally experienced this problem, or if they don't know somebody or love somebody close to them that has gone through this, gone through the full cycle of this problem, they will not understand. They will tell you that sticks and stones will break your bones, names can never hurt you. That might have applied in an analog society, but this is the digital generation now, and in most developing nations and developed nations, your reputation stands or falls based on Google, unfortunately. That's a lot of power held by one organization. So in closing, I feel for you. Hang in there. There are answers. There is help out there for you, but it's not going to be easy. You may also want to check out my website, trustmovement.org. One word, trustmovement.org. That'll give you some non-technical encouragement.